Welcome to Lisa's Painting Parties. I'm Lisa, and I am very excited to have you all today. This is my 1-year anniversary of doing these painting parties. So thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm really excited for this painting. And I can't believe I've been doing this for a year, and I really appreciate all of you who've supported and joined me from the beginning and who will join me later, and it's been fantastic. So thank you all for having fun with me and painting along with me and enjoying this creative process. So we'll get started just a little bit after 6, just to make sure everyone has time. So that's in about 6 minutes or so. To get your paint supplies and everything ready, so we'll get started then. The painting that we're doing today is this one. Tree of Life. So this image is going to be very fun. They'll be a little bit challenging as well. As with all the images that I pick every week, they're all ones I find from Google or Instagram or Pinterest, and they're either pictures or other artwork that I really like. And then what happens is everyone votes. So I post something on Saturday that just says, like, here are 3 great options, which one do you like best? And everyone votes, and the one with the most votes basically is the one that we pick to paint live together on the Wednesday. And I announced it on Tuesday. So what you should do, I would suggest, is grab a screenshot of this image or grab the image from the winning post from yesterday, just so you have it available as reference, because I might either go a little bit too quickly or might go a little bit too slowly, and it's just good for you to have the reference. I will have this available just beside as I'm painting, but again, I'm a control freak, as we all know, and I like to have that in my hands. So I would think that maybe some of you guys feel the same way too. So as a suggestion. And then what we'll do is, when we get started, I'll start talking through how I would approach it. So again, for anyone who's joining me, I have not painted this before. This will be my first time painting it, and I'll talk you through how I would approach painting this, and we'll go from there. A couple of things with this piece. This does not look like an acrylic painting piece to me. I think if anyone's doing watercolors, I'd be super interested to see what you create from this, because I think this would look really cool in watercolor. However, I'll approach it from acrylic paint perspective, and then I will talk through that with you, and we'll go from there. All right, so we'll go in more detail in a little bit, but as of right now, I'll walk through my painting supplies in just a moment. So first of all, hi everyone. I'm glad you're saying hi. Hi Cheryl. Hi Jody. Thank you. I'm so glad you're joining. So if anyone is interested in doing any virtual painting parties and would like me to host them, definitely send me a private message and we can talk about that. I've done a few of them and they've been so much fun, so I'm really enjoying that. It'll be through Zoom. It's like a virtual kind of session, and we can talk about that if that's something that's interesting to you. The other thing too is, if you would like, you can send me stars here on Facebook, or you can buy me a coffee. So there's a link there, and you can send me a tip if you like. Again, you don't need to, but it's just an option if you would like to. Besides that, let's talk about what supplies that I'm going to be using today. So I use an 11 by 14 canvas board. So this is just like nice and thin. I get this one. This one is from Partiers. I've got them from Amazon before. I really like the quality of it. I haven't noticed this one. I'm not. What I've noticed so far with this one from Partiers, there seems to be like little nicks on it and almost like some glue on it. Like, I'm not sure. So we'll see how that goes. The other ones that came from Amazon, I didn't notice any weirdness on the actual canvas itself. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't affect the painting too much, then these ones were cheaper. So maybe that's part of it too. But yeah, so that's canvas board. They're nice and easy to keep on the side. I also have just some water. I have 2 containers of water. I have paper towel. I have our paint. So if you have acrylic paint, and if you have yellow, blue, red, black, and white, those are the primary colors. And if you have the white and black, you can make anything out of those colors. That's all you really need. However, in this painting, obviously there's a lot of browns and kind of yellow, that kind of shade. So if you have a pre-mixed brown like I do, I might dip into that potentially, but I'll walk you through how to go about mixing brown as well. as we go through. I also have some other pre-mixed colors too that I may or may not dip into, but I'll always speak to a place of how to mix it yourself if you just have these. My paints are all from the dollar store. They're crafters acrylics, or they're not like real professional paint, and that's okay, and that's why I paint with it, and also I continue to do so in my painting parties, because I want it to be as accessible as possible to everyone. So you can go to a dollar store, spend minimum amount of money, and create a really great, beautiful masterpiece. And then we have my paintbrushes. So I always suggest to have at least 3 sizes in relation to your canvas. I am using a size 10, nice big coverage brush. I'm using this one as a size 2 for like a medium brush. Sometimes I use a 4. And this one is a size 4. It's like called a cat's tongue brush, and it actually creates a really nice thin point. So that actually is my fine brush. I also have some other fine brushes that I've got from Amazon as well that I've used a few times. So I suggest having 3 sizes, so large, medium, and small in relation to your canvas size. Cool? Awesome. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Rushi. Yay, I'm so glad. A lot of familiar names coming on. That's fantastic. I did notice, I haven't noticed it as much, but if you see anything that comes up in the comment section that looks like a link to anything, like to be like, oh, watch stuff here, that seems to be some kind of spam or something, so don't click on it. And if you see it pop up, if there's a way that you can report it, please do. And also just let anyone else know who might join a little bit later, because I don't want anyone to be clicking on things that is not beneficial to any of us. Awesome. And then of course I have my paint palette, which continues to just create layers upon layers of acrylic paint on it, and I kind of like it that way. So we'll keep that going as is. Fantastic. Hi, Rula. Hi, Anne. Awesome. Some fellow Canadians out there. Fantastic. So I'm coming to you from Ajax, Ontario, which is just outside of Toronto. And it was pretty nice today. It started kind of like cloudy and not the greatest, but now it's actually kind of sunny. And I love how it's still bright outside. I do have a soundtrack of like nature sounds, and that is because if I play any copyrighted music, they will mute my video or ask me to take it down. So I think I found the loophole to have something in the background, which is nature noises. So that's what we're going to be listening to for now. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'll give you guys another couple of minutes. Hi, Jean. Hi, Linda. Hi, Ashley. Oh, it's so nice to have everyone join. That's fantastic. Oh, Jody, you're in Kentucky and you're from Virginia. That's awesome. I love a lot of my Americans. I love it. It's so nice to have you all join from all over the place, too, and from Puerto Rico, and I don't know, it's great. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Cindy. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, cool. So, went through the supplies. Let's talk a little bit about how we should approach this painting. So, super cool painting. I feel a little intimidated by it, and so if you're feeling a little bit intimidated, that's totally cool. I'm actually pretty excited. It's like a nervous excited. Like, I'm really excited to see how it's going to end. I think it's going to be really cool, but I feel like there's going to be some really awkward points in it that I might be like, oh, what's going on? So if you're in that boat, we're in the same boat, which is cool. What we're going to start with is I'm going to start with this kind of monotone background, and I'm going to start with the sky. That's the first spot that I'm going to do. So I always look at our inspiration image and I say, okay, like what is the thing that's furthest in the background? And that's what I paint when we're doing anything with acrylic paint. So I'm going to use yellow, and I'm going to use some brown, and I'm going to use some white, and I'm going to kind of make kind of like a, I don't know, again, not just like one solid color, but I'm going to kind of make it look a little bit splotchy to give it kind of like that brown kind of cloud look in the background. Make it look a little bit more fuller, and I'll walk you through how I would approach that. Again, if you have pre-mixed brown paint, go for it. If you need to mix some brown paint, the way we're do that, we can use equal parts of the primary colors. So you're going to use equal parts red, blue, and yellow. We'll mix them all together, and that will create a brown. However, again, if you're using paints from the dollar store like I am, the thing about those paints is that they all have interesting names, like bright red or Christmas red, and each of those reds are different. You can't just really get a like red or blue. So they already have their own tints to them. So depending on what tints are in your paints, the brown might come out differently. Okay, so just keep that in mind if you're going to mix it with me. And don't feel worried about that. We'll figure out how to make it work for us, okay? So that's what we're going to work on first, is that background vibe. And then when we're looking at taking this painting, so looking at the composition, you can't even see it because I put it down. You can't see it. There we go. So looking at this painting, a little bit of a glare on it. No, I think that glare is going to end up staying for a bit. Okay. This painting is obviously longer than the way my canvas is, so we're going to think about how we're going to modify it to make it work for whatever canvas that you're using, right? So it still kind of has the same orient, like it's still rectangular, so it works out all right. But I am going to look and say, okay, like in terms of this image, this part, this monochrome part, takes up about 1/3. The top third is what I'm going to use for that, right? And I really want the majority of my picture to have this beautiful life and color in it, right? So that's, I'm only going to have the monochrome in about the top third and just kind of like space it out. When I do this too, like if you feel comfortable using a pencil and you want to kind of sketch it in first, feel free to do so. That's not what I normally do. That's not my approach. I usually just kind of jump right in and see what happens. But feel free to do what you like too. Also, as we go through, if there's anything that is working well for you or not working well, or you want to share, please do so, because I want this to be collaborative. All of my sessions, I love it that we can actually talk together and share best practices and things that we enjoy and what we don't enjoy and whatnot. And I also really want you to share when you're done your picture. So please snap a picture of it and share it as well. Okay, we are going to get started. Oh, and also, if you stumble on this page and you are not able to join in right now, this will be available on YouTube, on my Lisa's Painting Parties channel on YouTube, and also under the videos tab on Facebook. So you can always watch it at another point as well, or if you want to share it with a friend or anything else, it will always be there. And I don't plan to take it down, so they'll be up there, okay? As are my other almost 60 videos are all up there. You can watch whichever ones you want and have fun and paint along too. Okay. Oh, there's so many. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Rishi. Hi, Vicky. Oh, thanks for the stars, Cindy. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Hi, Ashley. Yes, absolutely. It is like a Bob Ross meets Wyland. Absolutely. I don't know. Ashley was saying if I'm going to use a wet canvas for that. I don't know. I definitely think I want to have it more watered down. And so I am going to play with that a bit, but I don't think I'm going to start with a wet canvas right off the bat. I don't think so. Cool. And brown one. You really want to do this one? Awesome. Yeah, I understand that. So she's saying that she loves the beach sunsets, but the tutorials don't show any new skills because she's watched so many. I know I love the beach sunsets too. I agree. Awesome. I do have to visit Hershey. You're right, Nancy. I would love to. I've always wanted to visit Hershey, Pennsylvania. That'd be amazing. Yes, Anne, absolutely. It is available outside this live chat. Absolutely. And yeah, you can definitely watch it then, Vicky, on YouTube. Absolutely. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to start. You guys can keep commenting or let me know if you need anything, and I will keep an eye on that as we go. Sometimes I do get into my groove, so forgive me. Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to start off. So how should I start this? Okay, I'm going to start by mixing a brown. So I'm just putting paint on my canvas right now, yellow, red, and blue. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring it up to the camera, and I'm going to mix it, and we're going to see what kind of brown comes out of this, and whether I'm going to enjoy it or not. So I put equal parts, essentially, on there. Okay, so I'm going to mix them all. Okay. And see how it goes. If you put more blue than the other two, you're going to get more of a gray. But if you put equal parts, you'll get more of a brown. So I don't know if you can you can't really see anything. Oh, I need like a camera that's above my canvas. So it's already kind of happening, this kind of like muddy color, which I think is going to work really nicely. I like it. Okay. So I'm just mixing that. I hope you can see that a bit. I don't usually show when I mix paints too much. I usually just kind of talk it through and go, but I think this is good to do. So get the brown you want to go with. Then I'm just going to add on my palette a little bit of white, not in the middle of that, like separately. I'm going to add like a little dollop of white because I'm going to want to play with it a bit. And I want to still use my yellow too. Okay, so I have kind of like this muddy color happening. And I'm going to just start to put some in here. This is a lot darker than I want, so I'm going to go get some yellow. So I kind of put in that muddy brown, and I'm just putting like dollops of yellow into that muddy brown color. I haven't wet the canvas. I'm just putting splotches of this color on here to see how I like it. And I'm going to mix it on as I go. And I'm doing it like haphazardly. Like I don't want the sky to be just a simple straight block of color. I want it to have some texture to it. And I'm putting a bit of white as well. So I'm mixing white with this. So I do want it to be a little bit lighter than what's going on here. And as I'm doing it, I'm trying to hit the tops as well. And I'm not worrying too much. I don't want to blend it in. Like I don't want it to be, again, all one monochromatic color. So I'm just going from that kind of weird muddy brown that I made. And I'm getting a bit of yellow. And just play with it. I think this is a really cool, really cool painting. Or, I don't even know if it's a painting, like I said. I think, actually no, maybe a watercolor painting or a print. I love the image just because I love how it's the contrast of it being so dreary and kind of sad on top, and then all this bright and love and color and happiness at the bottom. Like, I love that. Okay, so I kind of have like this, ooh, it got really fuzzy. Hopefully it's not super fuzzy for you. How did it get fuzzy? Is it fuzzy for you guys? Let me know. Because my preview is showing that it looks like what I can see when I take off my glasses. So let me know. Okay, you are seeing that too. Okay, thanks for letting me know. What is going on? Okay. Of course, today has to be the day. They're like, no, on your anniversary, we're going to make everything crazy. Okay, let's go to me and see if we can refocus. Come on, camera. Okay, I'm clear. Yay! Alright, let's do this again. And we're not going to go blurry. No, we're not going blurry. What is going on? Okay, it's not blurry right now. It's a little bit further away than I like it, but that's what we're going to try. See what's happening. Okay, guys? Now, thank you. I appreciate all of you messaging. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. It's a little further away than I like it. You can still kind of see me a little bit, but I guess you have to see me a bit more than you normally do. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. If it needs to refocus again, I'll... Maybe me painting kind of abstract is throwing it off. It's like trying to focus on my paint strokes. Okay, so I'm just, like I said, still doing what I was doing before. My paint is still wet. I'm working pretty quickly as I'm doing this because I want it to still be blendable and I can mix these colors. I want it to feel like there's some movement in the sky. I think I want it to go a bit lighter. I'm going very brown already. I'm also using my medium brush for this. I started just using it because it had a lot of paint on it because I mixed my my paint with that color. And I initially was going to use my largest brush to start with that, but I think getting these little strokes is creating more of what I want. So happy with that. I'll get some more yellow in here. So I'm going back and forth between the colors and just kind of continuing to build layer on top of layer until I get the lightness that I want. So I don't want it to be very dark because we want to have everything else a little bit darker on top, right? And I already need to replenish my paint. I've used up all my yellow already. Let's get some more of that on there. So you can see that's good there. Okay, good, good. I'm glad that it's retained its focus for you guys now. Awesome. Getting some more white. I'm just trying to remember to get all the tops and sides of my canvas. I think I wanted it slightly lower than that. I'm going to keep going a little bit more. Cool. I made it a little bit lighter there. That works out. Yeah, I think that's where I want it to go. Yeah, that looks about right. I think I need a little bit more touch-ups at the top. So I can still see some of my canvas poking through some of the... I don't really like to see that too much. Cool. Okay, so it's very shiny. I'm just gonna look at it a little bit there. Okay, cool. You can see it better that way. Awesome. Oh, thank you, Patty. Thank you and Susan for always joining and voting, and I really appreciate you too. Thanks for joining today as well. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry a little bit before I want to put in my next layer of it, which the next point of this will be, I'm going to kind of use the same colors, but I want to make it a little bit darker, and I want to create this like mountain range, right? There's also a slight mountain, like a distant mountain range in the back here that you can kind of see. So whether or not you want to put that in, I may not put that in. I might just stay with having this more foreground like land happening. That's what I'm going to do next. But I'm going to let this dry so that when I put that on, it will just be more crisp, I think. Kind of am debating it now, and I kind of want to just put it on right now. No, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. I'm going to go with my gut. All right, so I'm just going to take that paint off that brush for now. Okay, cool. Probably gonna use, I'm not gonna use the same brush or change it up. Not too sure yet. All right, so hopefully you're all digging your sky. And again, you can approach it in a bit of a different way. If you have like a sponge, you may want to go more like a sponge look, like a sponge or like no, like a sponge is what I was thinking. My brain went from like a makeup sponge to like a dish sponge, and I was like, oh, they're different words, but no, they're the same words. So maybe you want to use that. That would kind of create a bit of a different texture to it. I'm enjoying like the paint strokes and the different color play that's happening. So I'm good with that. But it's up to you how you want to approach it. And any way you want to approach it is the correct way, because it's your painting and it's your world. And that's what we do. Cool. So because I put lots of paint, but in thin layers, I'm already seeing that it's starting to dry in certain spots, which is good. So it won't take super long to dry. if you're very impatient and you just hate waiting for anything to dry before you do the next thing, you can always use like a hair dryer or like a blow dryer, I guess, and just like dry it up real quick. That's totally fine if you would like to do that. I'm not going to, because I can just talk to myself and to all of you until it happens. But we'll let that go. Or you could even start playing with some of the colors. If you wanted to start putting in some of the blues and whatever, you can always jump to there if you so desire. It's up to you. There's no wrong way to approach it. But I'm going to wait a little bit longer because I do want to put in this background before I go down to the bottom. Now, let me see. Definitely, I'm going to have to make some more blue. Okay, so down here I'm noticing that it is already pretty dry to the touch for me. And I want to create this just horizon line, just so I know where that division is. Although realistically, when I start putting in the blue and whatnot, I might have to redefine that after. But just for my own process, I'm going to get that kind of muddy brown that I made. And I'm going to put in this line just of the horizon of where I want it to divide from that blue brilliance. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to be just to give us a nice guide. That's where that line is going to be there. And I don't know if it's actually really straight, so I'm going to just hold it up to my eye to see. Yeah, we're good. I'm happy with that. If you need a guide for it, like feel free to grab a paper or a ruler and just do that. Or be a rebel like me and take a chance and see if you create a straight line or if it's a bit of a crooked horizon. If it's a crooked horizon, we can always fix it up anyway. So again, no stress. Okay, so that's where that's going to be. So it's definitely different in terms of dimension because again, clearly this is much longer than like what I'm using here. So I'm going to be shrinking up this top part a bit just to make it fit. I really want this to be where everything's going to stand out. Okay, so I think again, this is already starting to dry. There is some wetness still, but I don't think it's going to affect negatively what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to get that same kind of dark color and I'm going to start plotting in my mountains. And kind of go up my hills and the land that lives and is settled here. Okay. This I'm going to make it a little bit higher because why not? And try not to make it super straight. Like I still want my line to be very opaque. Like I want it a nice distinction. But I don't want it to be like really straight. I want it to have a little bit of like rugged, so it feels like land, you know? So that's where I want my mountain to be. Oh, I'm glad you'll be painting it, Deborah. You'll really enjoy it, I think. So far, I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so I'm going to keep, if we look here, it's darker along where that line is, and then it kind of gets a little bit lighter, and there's a bit of, again, it goes a little bit darker in certain spots to give like the grooves of like the hills and stuff. So I'm going to go with this dark and still put in a little bit, start putting in a little bit more to give it texture and to kind of start feeling like this mountain is real. I'm going to still use this color. I think I'm going to even get a bit darker too in a little bit and add a bit more that's a bit darker. So I'm just going to bring it down, just create like little ridges on the sides of the mountain. And the same thing on this side here. I'm just putting little lines of this color right now. And if the paint is wet behind it, it's okay because it's going to kind of blend with what we want to. So I might get some of that yellow actually. And start putting a bit of yellow in here now and mixing it in a little bit. Trying to keep it still dark closer to that line, but then start putting in a bit of, I'm using the yellow right now. You could use some white just to play with the color a bit and again give it some more and I'm going to try to do this a little quickly so I can get that happening when it's still wet. And I actually haven't used water to really dull any of this down yet, so that's interesting because I thought I was going to use water to help assist with this. I mentioned it earlier, but I haven't found the need for that yet, so kind of interesting. Wonder if any of you have used a little bit of water to soften it. How's that worked out? If you have, definitely let me know. I want it to be a little bit lighter down here. I'm gonna have to redo that a little bit because I won't be able to mix it. It'll already be dry by the time I get on that side. So I'm using, again, that same dark color that we made, that nice dark brown, and then I'm putting in some yellow and mixing that a bit. I'm trying to keep that line still very dark. And anywhere you want kind of like a ridge to live, you're going to keep that definition in a darker, right? To give it more feeling on this mountain. It looks like I need to mix more of that brown color. I used it all up already. Okay, let's do it up. I'm just going to reapply that here before I start mixing some other colors in. Okay, put some yellow. I'm just doing like little dabs, and I'm just letting the paint kind of mix in. And then I'm just going over some of the spots that are a little too intense, but I still want to keep the different colors happening there. Like I don't want to just again mix it all so it's all like the same uniform color. Like I'm kind of dabbing and then I go away and then I come back, and then by doing that I'm always grabbing different paint. So it's not just creating like a monotone like light brown or a bunch of yellow. Like it's all kind of playing with and blending the different colors to create the illusion of like lots of little grooves and spots on this mountain. But again, it's really far in the distance. We don't really need it to be very, we don't need it to be very noticeable. We don't need to have all the detail happening. We just want to blend like that. Okay. But I still want this all to be lighter than whatever we're going to use in terms of our color for our tree. Okay. Cool. That's a really good point, Ashley. She's saying if it's more of a heavy body paint, you might want to use more water. You're right. It does, and again, sorry for the glare on that. That's why if possible, it's better to, I think if I do that, it's going to be worse almost. I feel like that's a little better. Yeah, you still got a bit of a light bulb on it, but you know, it's better to have your own more accessible to you. Okay, so I want to now here it looks like there's almost like a city or some kind of like settlement that's happening at the bottom of the base of the mountain here. Again, I need to still mix a bit more of my brown because just using it all up quick. And I'm just playing with the color, just getting a bit of a darker one on here. Okay, so I'm just going to put in a couple of different, again, kind of more hills and a bit of ridges here to be like something else is happening down here. And this will help define this horizon line. And we can add a little bit more to that once we have the definition of what we like going on there. So I just have kind of like, it looks a little bit darker, so it's a bit of a, you know, there's something else happening. Just gonna get some, a bit more blue. And I'm just playing a little bit with the color here, just putting a little bit of little touches of, I don't want to go too blue actually. I think that's a little bit too much because I don't want to take away from how we're using a very similar color palette at the top, so I don't want to bring in, but I do want it to have a little bit of texture. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. There's kind of little touches of little like yellows and stuff, so I think I want to add a little bit of that too, but I won't use this paintbrush to do it. I need to use one that's a little bit finer, and I think I want to wait as well until it dries just a touch, so when I put in those little dots of light, it almost looks like there's little lights on or something. Just the vibe of like people living there, maybe, you know? So yeah, cool. Looks very cool so far. Doesn't feel as dreary as I thought it would. So it's kind of funny. Okay, cool. So I'm not going to touch the tree yet because I want, basically now that this kind of like nice line has created our horizon, it has that city or whatnot there, I want to start playing with this bottom part. So the way I'm going to approach it is I want to have color play of blue happening first. What I mean is I want to just, I'm going to ignore all of the roots that are coming from the bottom of the tree right now, and I want to just have the background and play with that so that I create a nice, basically a nice base, so that when I do put the roots in, that base is going to complement all the different things that are happening in the front. So I'm going to play with blues and a bunch of different various, like dark blue, light blue. If you have a turquoise or something, that's cool. And just kind of do like a color play with blues to get like kind of different vibes going on. And then we can always play and touch it up and have them flow once we have the roots in too. So I just want to get the color on here so that we have a nice base to play off of once we do all the roots. Cool? And then once we have that base of blue, then we'll pop the tree in and start playing with those roots, if that makes sense. Cool? Okay. So my city, I'm going to call it my city or my town. It's still not ready. Not ready to turn the lights on there yet. And that's cool. I'm going to get more blue because I'm definitely going to need more blue. That's for sure. So I'm putting a nice big dollop of it. The blue that I'm using of my Crafters acrylic is called Copenhagen blue. I was using a peacock blue before, which was super bright. This one is a lot more dull. I really like this blue a lot. I think the color is really cool. But it definitely doesn't pop, I guess, the way, which kind of makes sense, right? When something's named peacock blue, like it really should pop, and Copenhagen blue seems a lot more chilled. So it's logical. It's logical. Okay, cool. So, just seeing if I want to wait and just pop those lights in before. I think I will. It's already starting to dry enough, I think. So I'm going to do that first. Let me get one of my more fine brushes, though. Go that route. So I'm going to use that one. Okay, cool. So let's get some yellow. Okay, so I'm going to just put in like a little smattering of little yellow dots. Kind of, and I'm trying not to make them like super uniform. I want them to be kind of in random spots. Maybe some are a little bigger than others, and they're just kind of there. So this has, I don't know if you can see that too well. I'll bring it a little closer. There you go. So it's like little dots to give the idea of like there's things happening on this land. That's how I'm going to express it. And that's all I'm going to do with that. I'm not going to do any more right now. But again, we can always go in and play with it more later or add more things if we so desire. Okay, coolios. Okay, let's play and do this color play at the bottom. Again, I kind of want to use my medium brush. I'm going to still use that number 4 medium brush to do this. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm going to start right on with my blue, and I'm going to let's just start putting some color happening. I don't really know. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this, so let's just start somewhere. Throw some blue on. I'm avoiding using the water because I don't want to water down my paint too much. I want it to still provide a lot of nice coverage. So I just got some white. I'm just adding it in some of the gaps. A little darker up here. Okay. And I'm pretty much going to continue doing these little dollops of the blue all over the place. I am kind of thinking, like, I know it kind of goes into those roots, but it still gives me a very, like, water vibe. And that's kind of what I'm challenging right now. It's an interesting piece, eh? Like, it's kind of like the roots going into the earth, but then it's also, I don't know, like how water is giving life too, and I don't know, that's the vibes. I'm getting lots of different vibes from it. It's a cool abstract piece, that's for sure. So I'm going with blue, and then I'm just grabbing white every once in a while, and then I'm just like throwing some white on just to get some good mix happening. Trying to make sure I cover all the canvas properly. I really don't like to see the canvas poking through anywhere. So I'm just kind of going back and forth, almost creating, it looks kind of like watery right now. I am going in more of a, I'm just going back and forth horizontally. I'm not thinking about all the loops and swirls at the moment. And in terms of the canvas, I was concerned about it. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but it seems to be doing fine. It doesn't, like, I don't feel like it's not working as well as the other one. Like, so far so good. So we're going to pick up some DeSera's canvas. Doesn't seem to have a problem so far. You can always use a larger brush for this process too if you're a bit more impatient and you want to get it done a bit quicker, because we are going to be putting a lot of detail on top anyways. I'm just trying to remember to hit the sides of the painting as we go. And again, as a reminder, if you have like other shades of blue that's pre-mixed and you want to go nuts and use different ones, go for it. And if you aren't digging that and you actually just wanted to start putting in, you know, all the roots and kind of you do it more of like almost like coloring in, right? Like if you wanted to approach it more like almost like a coloring book or a coloring page, that you have like certain sections and you want to do them individually, that works too. So it's whatever makes sense to you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's dry up here so I can hold the canvas as I'm going. Okay. And I love this too because again, it's abstract, so we can really play with it. You can hide images in it if you want. You can like make the roots after making them into like a heart or make them into your initials, or you know, you can have some fun with it, which is kind of neat and fun. So I think I'm pretty happy with this abstract vibe going on. I'm not going to worry too much about, okay, my feeling is like, oh, I want to keep making it look kind of like water and like waves, but that's not the vibe I'm going for. So I'm telling myself out loud to you, but also kind of as a reminder to myself, but I just wanted to have this multicolor kind of feel. We're going to be playing with that anyways with all the roots and everything that's going to go on top. I just want to make sure everything's nicely covered. Some of these are not very nicely covered. Okay. Okay, so with this now, I want to let this dry fully. Hi, Joe. Thanks for joining in. All right, so right now we have a vibe of a big body of water and some distant mountains in the background. Still pretty cool. Still digging it. And again, you can take it in a totally different direction and be like, you know what? I'm gonna do my own thing at this point, and that's totally fine. But I am going to start playing with that tree. Getting that tree drawn in here while this base dries up a bit to give us a nice background. All right, so the tree. I want it to stay in the same values, but I want to have it dark. So I'm going to be using kind of the same level of color as like here, and then I'm going to use different colors to kind of highlight some of the yellow when I start making all the roots that stem from it, just to give the definition. I don't even know, I kind of want to use black, but then at the same time I kind of don't. Like I feel like there's not really any black. It's like a nice brown kind of hue to it, so I want to keep that going. Now to choose the paintbrush I want to use. Which one will be the one that gives me the control that I want? Maybe my fine point? Perhaps. Let's see. I'm just going to wet it and see if it's going to give me the control I want. Okay, let's try that. Looks like I have to mix more of my brown paint again. Dries very quickly, I find. Acrylic dries very fast, always, so that's not too much of a surprise. Okay, so I'm going to get a bit more blue into this mix. And even if it has more of a gray vibe, that's okay. But I don't want it to be blue. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's try that. No, I feel like it's still very blue. So I'm just going to keep mixing mine to get a nice dark brown that I had before. Okay, I think that works better. Okay, so let's plug in where we want the tree to be. Oh, I really want to put my hand down to give me stability. Okay, I'm gonna try to put my finger like that. Okay, so my tree, the top of the tree is gonna be about here, right? It's not gonna go all the way to the top of the canvas, right? So I want to just think that, and I still want to put in my actual trunk. So let's put that in. Just adding a little bit of water to make it easier for me to. A little thicker at the bottom. I feel like I need to put my finger down on this side. Okay. It's going to start to spread out the bottom there, but okay. I want to go up first. Okay. So I want to put in some of the branches where I want them to go. And we're not going to be able to see them all because I'm going to put like leaves and whatnot, but I want to know where my tree is going to sit. So I'm still going to build a base where I want this tree to be. Okay, let's just figure out where we want this tree to go. Okay, so we have the base of where we want it to be. Actually, I want it to come out a little bit more this way. Okay. And then, now, I want to put on all of the leaves. Give it that vibe of feeling. So I'm going to get this brush, just because it'll get more. Is that nicer? Okay. And let's start by putting on some of the this is like the first like layer, I would say. How we want our leaves to sit. I'm going to put on some other layers too. Okay, let's give it some texture, make it feel a little bit funky. It doesn't have to be super round. It can come up even a little bit higher, actually, I think. Let's make it come up a little bit higher. That's cute. That's cute. It's kind of like a little awkward. I like it. Oh no! Joe said that my little girl stepped on a nail this afternoon and you had to go to ER and a tetanus shot. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, that's so scary. I hope she's feeling okay. And I hope you're feeling okay. I know it's scary, obviously, to go through it, like, as a kid, but as a parent, like, that's almost worse sometimes, because you can't take away the pain. You just have to, like, be there and try to support, and, oh, that's very hard. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that today. Okay, I'm gonna get some white, just mix it in a little bit because I want to put in a little bit of white into. I want to make it a little bit lighter, that brownish color. Well, it kind of made it very yellowy. Oh well, we'll play with that. We'll see. Okay, if it's too much, then we'll take it away. But I'm just gonna put in a little bit just to make the trees and the carve out a little bit like of the layers of the branches that are in there. That's nicer, I think. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bit darker again. Ooh, I don't want it to be very red or blue. Ooh. A little bit more, another layer. There we go. I think that is pretty cool. I'm just going to bring that a little closer. So that's kind of what I have. I might still add a little bit more dark because I feel like I made it a little blotchy in certain spots. And my paint is just a little too, not like dark the way I want it to be. Okay. I think I'm going to leave that like that for now. Okay. This lovely tree. So not too bad, eh? Like this is from, it's been about almost an hour since we started, and we have like the base before we get into all of this lovely, happy color place. That's pretty darn cool. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take. I mean, granted, like I think this is going to take some time, and we can kind of delve into that, and but I wasn't sure like how long it would be. So I'm happy that it seems to be flowing well. Okay. I'm just trying to create more of that brown color. I'm putting red and blue and equal parts of yellow together. Okay, so I want to continue. You know what? I want to make it so you can still. Oh, that's very light. That's not the color I thought that was. Okay, one moment. Let's darken that up, shall we? I think I just added white into that mix and it kind of threw me off a little bit. That's alright. I'll play with that a bit after. It's fine. Okay, so we want this to start coming down. So let's start playing with the way these roots are going to come down. So when I look at this, I should talk about it a little bit before we start off, I think. But so they're definitely thinner further away, and as they come up, they become more ornate there's more of them. I think they're a little bit thicker, more vibrant. So that's the approach I want to take from back here. So back here, it looks also that we're kind of using yellows still, maybe some like greens, again, that brown. And then when we leave this middle zone, that's when we start to get into like reds and oranges and we're bringing in more color. So that's the kind of approach. Again, you don't have to take that approach. You can make it anything you want. But that's how I'm going to approach this. So I'm just going to start bringing out wisps into the water. I do want my lines to be pretty thick. I want some to go swishy swishy all around. Now again, we're using acrylic paint, but you can make this a mixed media project, right? So if you have like Sharpies and you want to go nuts and get some Sharpies on here and do this in Sharpies, do it. Do whatever you want. You don't be limited by thinking that, oh, I started with acrylic, I have to stay with it. You can change that through like paint pens. Right? Like you can kind of do whatever you desire. Let's start just bringing all of these. Oh, that is not good on my brush, so I left that. I'm going to bring all of these lines, all of these roots out and around in weirdly different ways. I'm using the same color right now, and I think I'll play with some other colors in a little bit, but for now I'm just going to continue with this. Ooh. When you're using a really thin brush, it does not hold a lot of paint, and sometimes I forget that. I'm just trying to keep an eye on it so it doesn't glob a big chunk of paint somewhere on my canvas where I don't want it to be. Okay. This is where we're going to have all these little just play with it, like make all these little swirls and dips and make them stop randomly. That's totally cool. Right, maybe it veers off and it comes up like this. Okay. I don't know, I can do so many things. Okay. So I'll come down. I am using a little bit of water just to smooth out some of my my lines, but I'm trying not to use too much because again, I don't want to dilute my paint and create it so that it doesn't show up like nice and opaque on top of this blue that I've put on. That's like a weird line. All these weird, you can see that okay. So it's going to have all these roots going from the tree into the water in all different ways. And I'm still using the same brown color for now. But you can change it up. If you want to go right into and put some green, go for it. I think I still want to create a bit more of a base for this brown, even though a lot of it is different color. But I'm going to go with this first, and I'm going to build from there. That's what I think I'm going to do. Cool. Reminds me of like doodling in class or something, you know? Kind of gives me that vibe. It's neat. Okay. Where else do we want some more of this brown happening before we play with a different color? Maybe over here, right? Maybe we want another line to come this way. Super cool. All right, let's have a few more little lines kind of coming out here. I always put my hand in the paint. Okay. I want to have like some darkness to make all my colors pop, which is why I haven't gone into a different color yet, because I want to still, I'm going to likely, when I put on the different colors, I'm going to use the same lines as I've put in with my brown, and I'm going to put in the colors alongside them, and it'll pop a little bit nicer to have that kind of shadow happening. But then I might still go back in and put in more brown later anyways. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. Kind of getting like an octopus kind of vibe sometimes with some of these tendrils that we're creating. And I love octopus. Love the octopus. My favorite, one of my favorite animals. Getting that kind of vibe happening. It's kind of a weird, awkward one. I want to have it come out this way too, I think. Okay. Almost ready to move on, but not quite. All right. Whoa, it looks crazy. Oh, Karen, sorry. The leaves, I used the same brown as I used this darker brown. And then I just lightened it up slightly to give a bit of highlight. And then I lightened it up a little bit more, and also darkened it. So I kind of went back and forth on basically that dark brown that I used. So again, with that, this whole brown that I've made, I used equal parts of red, blue, and yellow, and that creates this kind of brown color. And then I just lightened it a bit with some yellow first, and then I also lightened it with some white. And then I kind of played with like a medium brown color, the dark, and the light for the highlight. Sorry about that. Oh, thanks, Jane. Thank you so much. And thanks, Lori. Yeah, it's very cool. It's really, really cool. I'm really digging this. It's such a crazy, like, abstract vibe. And again, it's not usually my go-to. But I'm digging this a lot. So that's super cool. All right. Now, do I want to go to a different color? You know what? I think I might go to a different color. And then I think then I might end up going back to this afterwards, but we'll see. Where shall we go next? Let's see. I can't really go wrong with anything. And if I want to do more of like a green, like a bright green, if I want to go yellow, let's think. I think I kind of want to go yellow, but I want it to be like a bit green. Yeah, so I'm going to mix some blue into my yellow. And my yellow, let's put some blue in there. Mix more yellow into it because I still want it to be predominantly like yellow, but like a little touch of. And if you have a pre-mixed green, that works too. Still kind of like a dull color, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Let's try that and see if I like that. Kind of like a, yeah, okay. So let's use this a little bit to highlight some of these. So I'm gonna just choose one and then just come along one of my, and we're gonna bring that up a little bit and just start to play with another color beside my existing brown. Cool. Okay. Let's keep going with that. So I'm going to add this color just outside. Okay, that's already starting to make it come alive more. For anyone who doesn't like detailed, repetitive work, you might get a little annoyed about some of this. But you can also take it your own way. And you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can change it up and add colors in your own way. Again, don't feel limited to just do what I'm doing. Okie dokie. That looks pretty cool. And again, as we continue adding more and more colors, this is going to keep popping with each layer that we put on, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks so much, Bonnie. I'm glad you jumped on. Thank you. Yeah, this one I'm loving. But boy, oh boy, is it detailed. This part. But yeah, that's okay. That's what is going to make it all worthwhile. This is where you can find your meditation and your calm. You can just breathe and be in the moment. And hopefully that's what this whole painting, everything is providing, right? That's what I love about it. I feel like my brain is always so non-stop that painting forces me to just focus on this straight line, like this particular moment in time, and that's what I really love about it. Okay. I don't know about this canvas. I feel like maybe it's being a little bit funky. I don't really know. I feel like I'm not getting the best kind of straight lines that I would normally get. So I don't know about this canvas. Maybe don't get this one. I don't know. Stick to the Amazon one. That's a little more pricier. I feel like it's... Yeah. Even though I'm kind of using the same mix and using some water with my paint every once in a while, I'm not getting very smooth lines on top of the paint that I've already put on, so I'm not sure. Not quite sure how I feel about that. No, sorry, I don't like it. That's really what it comes down to. I don't really like the way it's looking. I feel like I have to go over it quite a bit to get like a solid line, so I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, thank you, Paula. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Nick. It's been such a great year for my creativity, I have to say. I really feel like I've grown a lot in that and doing these parties. So thank you all for joining. I really love it. And I love the comments. I love seeing your unique approaches to the different paintings that we do. I definitely suggest to everyone to go and check it out and see like other people's styles. You'll see like in the comments of the videos or sometimes in one of the other posts. And it's so cool to see the different vibes that everyone comes up with. Okay, so now where do I want to go after putting some of this in? Let's think. I guess I'm going to do some offshoots with this color, with some of the yellow. Not with the brown, but then just with the yellow. There we go. Okay. So I'm not really talking too much, but I'm just kind of continuing to put different swirls and whirls. I'm using more of my yellow paint right now, and I'm just adding some swirls that kind of go off and offshoot on their own. What I was doing before is I was kind of sticking with what I kind of keeping it on to where I had painted those brown, like the shadows, and I was kind of following along with that, but now I'm just kind of going a little mad and just kind of putting different swirly whirlies in just the yellow. Get some coming this way. Okay. More swirly whirlies. Okay. Okay, so now where shall we go next? Now the red is used in like kind of abstract ways to fill in some of the gaps and stuff. I think I'm going to go back and play with the blue a little bit and then add some blue, but almost like filling in some of these holes to kind of make it look almost like a mosaic put together. Let me tie up my hair though. I should have done that earlier. Oh, thank you, Linda. Yeah, it's coming together well. It's still kind of in this. It definitely didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I thought that I was going to go through a period of it being in that like really ugly zone, and I did not feel that way at all with it so far. So I'm pretty happy that that didn't happen this time. That happens almost every time I find that I paint, but I'm happy that's not the case now. But yeah, it actually is looking pretty cool. Like I'm not crazy about this yet, but we'll fix that up. Hi, Valerie's. Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. Yeah, definitely can't wait to see yours. Glad that you're coming. Jumping in, having fun. All right, so yeah, I want to play with the blue. I'm not like, I don't know if it's a brush or what's happening. I'm I'm scared to try a different brush because I still want my like super control over what I'm doing. Again, a little bit of a control freak. Okay, let's go with blue and see what's going to happen with this brush. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm not really sure, but I want to get some blue happening. And I want to play with it a little bit more in relation to these. So I'm going to take the background that I made and I'm going to just put in a few like ridges to make it flow more to the motion of the roots that are now invading into this water. Does that make sense? Hopefully, I don't know if it does exactly. Once I put a few more in, maybe you'll see what I mean. I'm going to go into these gaps. Because right now all the lines in the background, again, are very horizontal, like left to right, and I want these blue lines to mimic what's going on with all the roots. I'm just going to add some blue on top and maybe some more white in some spots to make it feel like that's going in the same way as these roots are. And so my rationale for doing it this way is that because you already have that base of the blue behind it, you don't have to necessarily make sure everything's fully covered. You can just put a few strokes in even if you don't want to fill in the whole section and give it that motion of it going in the same flow as the roots, and then it will do that easier instead of trying to fill it all fully in with paint. And you might have to touch up some of your root lines too, depending if you touch it and you don't like the way it is, right? So now it's kind of giving it more flow. See how I'm doing that? Okay, keep it going. Now, Okay. All this going down. Okay. Okay. Oh, my screen just went away. Oh, it might have went away a while ago. I guess I wasn't paying attention to it. I'll turn it on in just a moment. I don't really need it for this portion, I suppose. Just filling in these lines, putting in some more strokes to go in the direction of it. Okay, let's get that going. There we go. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So you can see the difference between the ones that I've done, like it kind of goes with the flow, and the ones that I didn't do, like they stand out really weird. Like, so I definitely like this. Okay. This could be adding a little bit of red too as I go. I definitely need more blue. I don't know, I think I'm gonna stick with this for a bit. Keep this going for a little while. Ooh. I think that's a little bit too light. I'll have to touch that up afterwards. Okay. Okay. I'll keep putting in some more white. Okay. This is a bit of a time-consuming process. But I'm loving the way it's turning out. It's really popping and making everything look really cool. And I can still put in more colors into it afterwards. Okay. Okay. Still pretty bright outside. Like, it's starting to get darker now, but I mean, I love that it's staying nicer and brighter and daytime for longer. So good. Alright, I'm almost done putting all these, changing up the way this water and life is happening. Okay, now, where did I miss a spot? I do want it to be a bit darker up here, I think, though. Okay, so I think we've got all the areas. So we have this whole flow happening with the blue and the yellow and the brown. The green did not really come out very green. It's kind of stayed more the yellow. But that's okay, that worked out well. Okay, so now let's put in some more colors to make this pop. So we have some splotches of red. Kind of strange. So let's go. Let's put some in and see what happens. So I'm gonna find little pockets, I think, and I'm gonna just add some red in kind of interesting ways. Some red. Some of them are weird looking. Little splotches of red. I don't know. Feels very strange to put this in right now. But we're going to add in a little bit more color and stuff too, so just trust this process and see what happens as I go. I need to get some green going on in here. Okay, let's get some, let's mix some more. I need some more yellow so I can mix that well. Just need to get a little bit yellow, maybe a little bit lighter in there. Okay, so put some more splotches of this kind of lighter green color. I'm just going to play with it. some green lines. Whee. I'll put some dollops of green in different spots too. Looks pretty crazy. Looks like a crazy, trippy dream. More blue, I think. I'm just going back to blue and I'm just putting some more little strokes. Some of them are going over the red that I put, some of them blotching it up a bit, just so it's not so like, the red is clearly on top of all the blue. Like I don't really want that. I want it to be a little mixed up if you don't know what I painted first. And I think that will make it look a bit more, it'll look better. Like it looks more. Go back and put some more lines in on top of this green. Okay, not too bad. Okay, and I want to use the white. And I want to get some like really, if possible, I don't know if it's going to create it with this. Let's see, the white got pretty thick, so I need to I'm gonna get very there. I want to get very like thin lines happening with my thinnest. I don't know if that'll be the thinnest. This one I think has more control. Let's try this one and see. I'm just going to put like little white highlights around certain spots, try to get more little tendrils happening with specific like white lines. And I'm not going to worry too much if the white line like trails off. It doesn't have to be like super opaque like some of the other ones. Yeah, that's making it pop nicely. Cool. Putting like little white lines following the craziness that's happening. Whoa! Crazy! Alright. Now, I think I'm close to being finished. I think I feel pretty good with it. I kind of want to add like some more little twisty lines. I think I do anyways. Just gonna think about how I want to do that and where I want to do that. Maybe some orange would be kind of good. Mix some of this red into my yellow. There we go. More yellow than red for these paints, because the red's kind of a weird shade. So okay, so I'm gonna just put in a little bit. So I want to put little like flicks of orange in here too. Yeah, that's good. But I'm going to add a few kind of more like tendrils of this orangey color, not just the dollops. I was saying, does the birds chirping in the background remind you of water, running water? Actually, yeah, that's kind of funny that you say that. It was funny too because I was going to pick one that was more of like a waterfall kind of vibe, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good idea. All right, I think I'm feeling pretty good with it. I think so. I think I'm pretty much done. I didn't put that much detail on this tree, so I think I'm going to go back to that and do that. And just in like the actual trunk. So I want to just put a little bit of detail into the I have my brown that I made before is non-existent now. I'm trying to get it back. At least a little bit so I can play with some of the... Even if it's a little bit off in color, it works out okay. Because then it'll kind of bleed into the... And I do want to put a little bit of branches that you can kind of see them stick out a little bit, because I think that makes them more realistic. Ish. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. Alright. I think I'm done. Exciting! Yeah, I am super happy with the way this turned out. Definitely different than my comfort zone. So I'll go close to see just kind of like the random pattern and splotches that I did. So if you're putting some splotches of red and orange and you're like, this is weird, mine look weird too. Like there's weird shapes. They're all different. And then you just kind of like keep layering and then go back a little bit with the other colors you've used, like the blue, and then kind of throw it on top just to kind of make it look like it all blends in together. So that is a really cool contrast of this kind of monochromatic, dull world on the outside and a really fun, crazy, beautiful world underneath, which I love. That's fan-freaking-tastic. So just come back for a moment so you can see me for a moment. There we go. All right. So there we go. So thank you all for joining me tonight. This was really fun to do. I really appreciate you all joining and watching and painting along. And thank you for a really fun year of doing this. And I still plan to continue going on. So on Saturday, there'll be 3 more options for everyone to vote on. So the post will go on my Facebook page at noon on Saturday Eastern Standard Time. And if you follow my page, you can get notifications as well, and then it will let you know when I post something. And so then you'll be able to get that post and vote for the next option. Then the one with the most votes by the following Tuesday at noon is what is the winner, and then we paint that live together every Wednesday evening. And again, if you are interested in hosting, if you want me to host your own party, let me know, reach out and direct message me. That's about it. So have a fantastic rest of your day and rest of your week. I can't wait to see your pictures, so please snap a picture if you've joined and put it on the Facebook page because I'd love to see what everyone created. All right, have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.